Hello everyone, welcome back. We're still talking about the development of face, nose and palate, and in this section we'll talk about the development of paranasal sinuses and the intermaxillary segment. So this section has been divided into three components. The first component will deal with the development of the paranasal air sinuses. We'll see what the paranasal air sinuses are, what bones are actually involved and what are their functions. Then we'll talk about the development of lens placode. The development of lens placode would not be taken up in a lot of detail here, as the development of eye is a complete topic of itself, which will be discussed in a separate presentation. And finally, we have the intermaxillary segment, that is the area of the face that lies between the two fusing maxillary folds and forms the various parts of the face. We'll see what that parts actually are. So let's talk about the development of paranasal air sinuses. So why are they called paranasal? Because they lie around the nose. So referring to the figure, we can see four groups of air sinuses. Air sinuses are actually pneumocytes or air cells that can accommodate air in themselves, and they have a variety of functions which we would deal with in a little detail a little later. So at this point in time, let's refer to these paranasal air sinuses and see what these air sinuses actually are. So these in green, they lie in the frontal bones, so are known as the frontal air sinuses. These are two air sinuses lying in the frontal bone, so these are the frontal air sinuses. These in purple, there are actually various multiple number of small cells. These are known as the ethmoidal small cells because they lie in the ethmoid bone. Now this is the sphenoid air sinus because it lies in the sphenoid bone, and finally these are the maxillary air sinuses lying in the maxilla. So maxillary air sinuses, ethmoid air sinuses, frontal air sinuses, and sphenoid air sinuses actually lie slightly deep down. So these are the four different types of paranasal air sinuses. So they develop as divertically from walls of the nasal cavity. So walls of the nasal cavity actually give off a diverticulum. This diverticulum then develops into a paranasal air sinus. So these divertically, because the nose is surrounded by bones on all sides, so these divertically from the lateral aspects of the nasal wall, they grow into the bones, that is the maxilla. So the maxillary air sinuses, the ethmoidal air cells, the frontal air sinuses, and finally the sphenoid air cells are formed. Now they become filled with air. The primitive openings of the diverticulae, they form the orifices of the adult air sinuses. So the opening of the diverticulae in adults, they form the orifice of the adult sinus. So the lining is ectodermal in origin because it is developed from the nasal cavity ectoderm. So now the sinuses, they begin to develop before birth except the frontal air cells. So all the sinuses, they develop before birth except for frontal air cells which develop after birth. So the maxillary air sinuses, these are the maxillary air sinuses. They are the first to develop. They appear as a shallow groove on the medial aspect of each maxilla, and this is occurring at about third week of intrauterine life. So we are talking about these in blue, the maxillary air sinuses. Now the frontal air sinuses, they develop by 5th or 6th year postnatally. So the frontal air sinuses, they develop by when the child gets to an age of 5 or 6 years. So the paranasal sinuses reach their maximum size at puberty, as a result of which they contribute to the definitive shape of the face. They also help in reducing the weight of the skull, and they add resonance to the voice. Now let's talk about the lens placode. So this is a developing embryo. This is the site of stomodium, and this is the lens placode. So lens placode initially indicates the site of development of eye in the region of the face. So at this region in the face, the eye would develop in the future. Now, surface ectoderm thickens to form the lens placodes. So they are ectodermal in origin. They're induced by the underlying developing optic vesicles from the forebrain. So forebrain plays an important inductory role in the sense that it induces the formation of this overlying lens placode by the developing optic vesicle. The optic vesicle of the forebrain induces the formation of the lens placode. So the developing eyeballs, they produce bulges at these sides of the lens placode. So bulges are formed at the sides of the embryo because of the developing eyeballs. The optic bulges that first lie in the angle between the maxilla and the lateral nasal process. So between the maxilla and the lateral nasal process, this is the area where they actually lie initially, the lens placodes. However, with the development, the maxillary process, the narrowing of the maxillary processes occur. This causes the optic bulge to come forward. Initially, they were lying slightly laterally, but the fusion and the shrinkage of the maxillary process causes these lens placodes to lie anterior, come to lie anteriorly. Now, moving on to the intermaxillary segment of the face. So now, due to the medial growth of the maxillary process, the two medial nasal process fuse to form the intermaxillary segment of the face. So the intermaxillary segment is formed by the fusion of the maxillary process and the two medial nasal processes. So it has three components. The first component is the labial component. So the labial component forms a philtrum of the lip in the upper part of the lip. It forms philtrum of the upper lip. The upper jaw component, the alveolar process, it forms the portion of the jaw that carries the four incisors. And finally, the palatal component. The palatal component forms the triangular primary palate, which is known as the premaxilla. Now let's see that in the figure. So this is the philtrum of the upper lip, the labial component. So this is the second component, the alveolar process, which carries four incisors, and this is the third component, which forms the primary palate, which is known as the premaxilla. So this is the intermaxillary segment of the face, which is formed by the fusion of the two maxillary processes as well as the medial nasal processes. So this was all about this section. In this section, we talked about the development of the paranasal air sinuses. There were four different types of bones that were involved. These were the frontal bone, the maxillary bone, the ethmoid bone, and the sphenoid bone, which lies slightly deeply. We saw how these paranasal sinuses developed, and finally we talked about the development of the intermaxillary segment, which had a labial component, an alveolar component, and a palatal component. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. For further such sections, keep watching sqadia.com.